the listing of letters, but in and of themselves, those letters are just guides. They're not necessarily hard and fast parameters for where you're allowed to be.
I was very pissed and I said to myself, you're gonna talk now or you're gonna stay silent forever. My name is Chaney, I'm from Albania, and I identify myself as a lesbian. And even though I understood that I liked women from, girls from a young age, like the age of 7, I didn't have a name to put to myself because in a country like Albania, there didn't exist a language that would identify different communities. So usually the word that everyone would use to target a person was pederast. So I've been hearing for all these years myself being called pederast, and it's just in the age of the teenagehood that I realized that women that loved women like me and were attracted to women were called lesbian. And there you understand the importance of language.
My name is Pettis, and I come from Riga, Latvia. So I identify as a cisgender gay male. The thing is about LGBT and about myself as well, it's like we come out almost every day. My first coming out was probably when I was 15 to some of my friends, and I suspect I already know when my next coming out is going to be. It's going to be tomorrow. So it's like the best thing is like, how is to love the same-sex person? I always ask is like, what's your feeling of love? It's like, when was the last time, what were the feelings when you fell in love? It's like you had the butterflies and she's like, yes. It's like, and then you were shaking a little bit, yes. And it's like, you didn't want it to eat, yes. Like exactly the same.
My name is Val Fitzpatrick. I'm from Ireland and I'm bisexual. Bisexuality 100% recognizes the gender spectrum. For me, it means you're attracted to people of your own gender and attracted to people of other genders. And that's where the binary aspect comes in. People ask me about knowing that I was bi from a very young age. And I guess I don't know that maybe I didn't just repeat a word and coincidentally I am also bisexual. That could be the case. But I had a crush, as many 10-year-olds have crushes, on a girl in my class. But the previous year I had a crush on a boy in my class. It wasn't sexual, it was romantic. I wanted to hold their hands. I knew myself not to be straight, and I knew myself not to be gay. And I was lucky enough to have heard the term bisexual before. And I was lucky enough to be able to recognize that as home for me, even though it is met with so much criticism, and it is a difficult way to go about the world identifying as bisexual. But it's the only way I make sense. I can connect with people romantically and sexually based on their values and the energy they put out into the world, and that's not limited by gender identity or the type of body they're rocking.
My name is Nisha. I'm from Jamaica. I identify as a transmasculine person. My pronouns are he, him, they, them. When you look at a person's transition, there are like many different phases to it. There's no one way to transition. Oftentimes when people think about the word transition, they look at the medical part of it, but there's also an emotional component, there is a physical component, there is a social component as well. And I think there's a misconception that trans people are trying to trick the general public or trying to be deceptive. And I think there is a lack of nuance to that because people don't understand. Some people seem not to understand that trans people face a significant amount of violence and discrimination. And they basically think of us as villains or as deceptors when all we are trying to do is to survive. That's like the basic thing that we're trying to do as trans communities are to survive and to get through and to be affirmed in our identities.
My name is Kukai, and I identify as a queer identifying trans person. To be queer is to be in the space that says whether or not I am, a femme person attracted to other femme people, where somebody else might look from the outside and say, that person is a lesbian. I would simply just say, I'm queer because I'm attracted to femness. And so my femme attraction doesn't care about whether or not the person is, assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth. The fact is I'm attracted to feminists. A lot of people ask trans-identifying people, is when did you know that you were transgender? And for the most part, we don't know until we are told that what we are experiencing is wrong, or isn't what everybody else has been experiencing. This is how I want you to understand how to see me. When I walk into a room, beyond everything else that you might see, this is what I need you to see.